Hey everyone, welcome to the Nick from Millburn postgame show. I am joined by Frankie A. Frank, what's going on? How are you tonight, sir?
Oh, I'm very happy, very pleased. How you doing, Nick?
I am, you know what? The Seton Hall won tonight, 63-56 over the Butler Bulldogs. Um, every game is a battle with this club. We're going to be in a tournament. I don't know what tournament, but we're going to be in some tournament, and we are battle tested. Okay? Down the stretch, I don't want to play us. Bud Clark did not have the best game tonight, but yet down the stretch, ice water in his veins. Stephen Payne offensively did not have a great game, but down the stretch, a big block. Something we'll talk about later, but we've been discussing this on this show for weeks about a lineup change. Shaw pulled the trigger tonight. We weren't sure if he was going to, but he did. He sat Mike Williams down and started TJ Simpkins. And guess what? Mike Williams had his best game since November. And we were saying that sometimes, it's better to come off the bench. Mike Williams seemed like he was pressing a little bit. And, they made the move. We didn't fall behind early. We actually were in the game. I think we were only down by one at the half. And down the stretch, Mike Williams defensively stepped it up. And again, had his best game since November. And Simpkins played well. Simpkins ended up, getting more minutes than Williams. 8 points, 2 for 6. A solid game for him. Your thoughts on the games, real quick, Frank? We got a lot of people waiting to get on.
Well, I'm of course, I'm like really happy that we won, and going over to like the changes in the lineup, I was scared it was going to backfire on us, and but I
Right.
know Shaw wasn't doing that because of pressure from the media or any podcasts or anything like that. But I'm saying to myself, wow, all right, you know what? This could backfire on us. And I was just hoping it was going to end well, and it did. So I'll take it. Um, you know, I thought, you're right. Williams, the way he played at the end of the game was great. I wasn't sure if it was how it was going to be him coming off the bench versus him starting, and how Simpkins was going to be. As soon as opening tip, I said to my Nicholas, I said, well, "Look who's in," and you know, it was a struggle. It was a struggle offensively, and I'm not going to say it was because Simpkins was in or there was any of the lineup changes. These things happen to us, and I mean, look at the way we couldn't even shoot free throws tonight. It was a real struggle, but the defense and then offense in key moments is what took us to the victory.
Let me just say this, and I posted this on the board, and I was super nervous because we have been saying this for weeks, okay? And then when it happened, I'm like, okay, now I hope it works, right? That was my exact thoughts because I've been preaching this, like let's start Simpkins. But I was also thinking that it might work to help Mike Williams, and it did. It did. So yeah. So again, Shaw knows his team better than anyone else. He pressed all the right buttons. Guys, we have a lot of people wanting to get on tonight. We're going to start. We have a treat. Christina, we have former Pirate point guard, one of my all-time, and I'm just not saying this, one of my all-time, I loved his game. Total behind the back, wraparounds. Brian, I love you and Curry. We're probably one of the best backcourts I've ever seen. I've seen them all. Tynes and Gallus, Calandrillo. But welcome aboard, Brian. And what were your thoughts before we get into some of the game tonight?
Thank you guys so much for having me, Nick and Frank. I appreciate it. Man, I'll tell you what, those guys bring the defensive end every night. So that we're always going to be in games because of that. But the shakeup tonight in the lineup, Shaw with the shakeup, Simpkins, McCray was huge for us tonight. But like you said, down the stretch, they made some really quality offensive plays. They got the ball in the right guy's hands. We made some open shots. We made some threes tonight to where we have to stretch the defense, and it'll open it up for the penetration. eventually. So if they can continue to do that and build on that, I think they're going to be great.
Brian, as a former point guard for this squad, what do you think about the play of Bud Clark?
I love Bud Clark. I love his energy. I think sometimes he wants to do, like make that spectacular play for his teammates. But I just really love the way he gets after it. He gives up so much size, but you can't tell because of his heart and his determination. I love to see him just, continue to make plays, get guys open, and create some more easy plays for the guys. I don't think these guys get enough easy buckets to kind of get themselves settled into the game. So I would really like to see him do that a little bit more and get some of those guys going.
Does he remind you of any other Seton Hall point guards?
He does. I like him. He reminds me of Andre Barry. He reminds me of Shaw a little bit too.
Yeah. Frankie, any questions for Brian?
Well, no. Well, I mean, I have some comments. I mean, first of all, I want to thank him for coming to Seton Hall. I mean, that was beautiful. I remember when you said you were a point guard out of your high school, McCorriston.
My high school was McCorriston Catholic High School at the time. Yep.
Right. And
yep, I was
you came there, and no, I was like so excited to have you, and every time you played for us, I loved watching you play. I got to tell you that, and I'm not just saying that.
I appreciate that.
And believe it or not, Nick knows this, but a little prior to your era, I was rooming with a prior PJ point guard, Pookie Wigington. He was my roommate while I was at Seton Hall.
Really, Pookie? Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Pookie and I we were roommates for 3 years, and
wow.
But you continue a great era that was started when I just happened to be so lucky to get there on campus. I got there the first Seton Hall made the NCAA tournament, and you guys are really strong. And I cherish those memories, and it's been surreal texting with you over the weekend. But I appreciate everything you've done, and I'm so happy to help you with whatever you have going on. I know you have a basketball camp that you're like bringing up in different areas, right?
Yeah. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, if you want to elaborate on that.
Yeah, I do. So what I do here in Trenton is, because of the violence and, we had a crazy gang thing influence coming to the city. So kids were kind of afraid to go to different parts of the city. So a lot of times they can't afford basketball camp. So we decided to kind of bring camp to their parks in their neighborhood. So, we take Saturday mornings in the spring and the summer, and we get them T-shirts. We give them the full camp experience. I bring the camp to their neighborhoods, all age groups, from age 7 to 15 to 16-year-olds. And we get them out there 4 hours. We give them, it's all free. We give them a bag lunch. We provide a bag lunch for them. Like I said, we provide T-shirts for them and give them some instruction and kind of bring the camps to them in their neighborhoods. Kids are able to walk to the parks in their neighborhoods, so we don't have to worry too much about them getting rides across town and things like that. And it's been really successful, so kids have had a lot of fun doing it. So that's just kind of one of the things that we do for the city of Trenton, where I grew up.
Brian, let me ask you this: how this is as a community person myself, and who's been involved his whole life in helping people. How can we help you with this project?
What I do, it's definitely costly because we try to provide them with Gatorade, water. Like I said, I provide them lunches and buy them shirts. And we get basketballs, and we try to give them a lot of giveaways. So I posted in our group. I have these T-shirts that you can purchase. It's $35 just for a shirt, but it's more so to go fund our pop-up clinics and the stuff that we do for the kids in the summertime. So in the springtime, and it's a really good cause. I had some people purchase some just donated shirts, and they fund more than one. So if you can, I'll leave something in the comments in the group this evening and tomorrow how you can purchase them again. And it goes a long way. Every little dollar counts.
Oh,
and
absolutely.
It goes a long way. Yep. It goes on.
Christina, Frank, and Tom, if you're listening, if you guys could post that in our group, that would again repost it. That would be great. And anyone out there who wants to help this great cause and help a former Pirate, please do so. Brian, let me ask you a question. Tonight and other games that we've seen, Shaw can be a demand. Okay, all the players know that Shaw cares about him, so he can push him a little bit and be a little hard on him. And you had a coach with this, you know where this is going.
I already know where this is going.
You know where this is going. What I mean, not comparing anyone because everyone's different in different generations, but just what are your thoughts about this style of coaching? And people say it can't work with this generation, but there's proof it is working.
Well, it's all about I played for PJ who can use some choice words with you. But I really believe that it can work with this generation. I think they need to believe in each other. I think it's the reason we say it because so many moving parts. Guys are transfer portal. It's not the traditional a kid sign and stays 2 or 3 years. It's not like that anymore. So I think the kids that come to Shaw, they know who he is because he wears his heart on his sleeve. So he's an intense guy. You'll know that from the jump. And I just really think the players truly respect because they know he really cares for them. Right. And it's not just about the basketball part. He's preparing them for life. And I think once they realize that, those kids will buy in. Sometimes it's tough. It doesn't feel good to get hollered at. Doesn't get feel good to get pulled out. But I think if you learn from those moments, I've been in a lot of those situations. As you've known, I've thrown passes. Guys dropped them. PJ gets me. You get what I'm saying? So, but it's a part of it. It comes with it. It's a privilege and an honor to represent the Pirate Blue, and that's just a part of it. So I think these kids are starting to understand it, and they'll go far if they don't take it as a personal attack. It's for the better good of the team.
Great point. We're joined by Bobby. Bobby,
what's up, fellas? Brian, thanks for joining us.
Hey, Bob, how are you?
How are you? Before we let him go.
What's that?
Any questions for Brian before we let him go?
No. Again, great job, point guard. Aren't you coaching still in New Jersey?
I'm not coaching right now. I just do a lot of instructional stuff and developmental stuff right now. No coaching right now.
I was telling Frank I was at the Bergen County Jamboree. I ran to Jordan Theodore. So he's helping out. He's not coaching, but
yeah.
Excellent. Thanks for joining us.
No, I appreciate you guys. I'll talk to you guys soon. Whatever you need from me, just let me know.
Thank you, Brian.
Okay.
Thank you, Brian.
Appreciate it, Brian. Thanks for popping on.
Have a good one.
And post that link, Brian.
I'll do it. I'll make sure I do it right away.
Thank you.
Okay.
Bobby, what's up?
I'm in a lot of pain, but I'm here.
What happened?
My left knee.
That was Frank. Thank you so much for getting Brian on. And Brian, thank you so much for coming on. We've had all different kinds of former Pirates on this show. And Brian, we appreciate you. Let's get Coach O'Brien on. From North Carolina.
Hey yes.
Wearing his Pirate hat.
Oh, yes.
Coach O'Brien. Coach,
Adrian
what do you
Griffin.
think about tonight's game?
Brian Caber, Adrian Griffin, Danny Hurley were all on one team. And then John Leahy. So I just remember those days there, Frank. Caber taking the ball he was such a good point guard there. Good guy. Love the fact that he's helping out the community. And Nick, I heard you on Hall Line. I don't know what those guys on Hall Line or watched this game. They thought it was the greatest win. I'm gonna look at Butler. That's 13-12. They're missing their best player, right? He's hurt, Bijak. And I didn't think it was a good game for the Hall. I thought the coaches missed a lot in terms of preparing for this game. And let me tell you why. They shoot 25% from three without Bismack. Why didn't we go zone? Limited the fouls there. I don't know. We've got to do better. We got to do better with our homework when we play these teams that are 13-12. We should have won easily, and it was frustrating. It was just frustrating to watch, especially we only scored 23 points at half. Yes, Payne did have a good block at the end, but I thought Hines should have finished out that game. Payne, from an offensive standpoint, he puts us at risk. He turned the ball over 3 times in the last 3 minutes. He missed his last 2 foul shots. So I don't know. I just my expectations are we should be getting better, and we're kind of still at that point where we're all right. Time to turn the switch on and come back and win the game. At this point, going into the end of the season when it's crucial, right now, before this game, we were at 30% chance to make the tournament. I don't know if you guys saw the stat on the poly market there. So we've got to win 4 out of our last 6. So this is game 1. And then obviously we've got DePaul, obviously St. John's and UConn.
Wait,
I think
4 veteran 6
offensively,
going into tonight.
we have to win the last 4 out of the last 6 to be considered. We're the last 4 teams considered out right now.
Right, but that was that going into tonight's
Tonight's game.
Yeah, we have 5 games left.
Right. So we have 5 games left.
Right.
Yeah.
Now
So we have to
5.
win. We have to win 4. So we got 1. There's 5 games left. So now we have to win 3 more. Where are we going to get those 3?
That's right.
Where are we going to get those 3? DePaul, Georgetown, and then who else? Who
Xavier.
else is on there?
Xavier.
We've got to win those 3. We have to. There is no. We have to win them. Without a given. We're going to the NIT, which I don't want to go to. So I don't know. I'm frustrated to watch. I'm glad that we won. We have a chance. We're moving forward. What does this make sense, guys? I mean, as a coach, I watch all this and I'm just like, we should be better against a weaker team who's got their best player is out. Who leads the Big East in scoring? 18
But
points
Tom,
a game.
remember, they beat us at home with their best player.
They did.
And Butler, I've been to Butler. Butler's not an easy place to play. And yeah, and the fact that we won a game like this after we did not, okay, we admittedly did not play well tonight, but we won. So, put that, take that for what it's worth.
Yeah.
Last year we wouldn't have even come close.
No.
Maybe other years we wouldn't have won this game on the road, but this team had a fortitude to win.
Yeah.
And we're right at I know we could taste the tournament, and that's the goal, make the NCAA tournament, and we are so close. And there's no margin of error right now. Okay,
no, there is none.
And UConn and St. John's, we have to win one of those games. We just do. That would seal it. If we don't, the other 3, we're at, 3-2, 21. Okay, but one of those wins would seal the deal.
Yep. Going back to the game, I love the fact that he made the switch with Simpkins.
Yes, I was going to ask you about that.
The guys
Tom, you and I have been saying that.
Yes.
Bobby and I have been saying that for weeks.
Maybe he's watching this show. I don't know. He's not listening to the Hall line because the Hall line thinks it was not a good move. Well, obviously it worked. And you put it right, Nick. Some guys are good starters. Some guys are good off the bench. And what does Mike Williams do? He looked confident shooting those threes. I don't know.
Well, that's what we said. It wasn't a punishment for Mike Williams, and anybody who was playing it like that was wrong. It was just a way to get both of them to be better, both of them to play better.
Yeah, and the whole line. I don't know what game they were watching, but I thought that was critical to make that switch, and hopefully he continues to start Simpkins. Let's at least have a good attempt at starting the game. Because Simpkins gives you more of an offensive threat than Mike does. But I don't know. I mean, I'm on pins and needles with this team. I think we can do it. We got to get better at 3-point shooting. McRae saved us. He saved us, right, guys? He saved us. He hit. What did he hit? He hit 3 threes in the last 7 minutes.
The
Stanton
whole second
McCray was
half, he
2
was
for
great.
5. Stanton McCray was 2 for 5 from 3-point range.
2, okay. But he had a couple of mid-range there,
Yeah, he
coming off
was
the screens there.
7 for 11. Had one of his better games in a while.
Yeah. Oh, and we needed it. And that's
19 points overall to lead us.
And that's what this team is built around. If Clark is going and he's riding and he's carrying the team, tonight McCray did. So that's what we're going to need. I still think Hines should play a little bit more for sure. I just at the end there, we want someone, and Hines is a better foul shooter than Payne, and I feel more comfortable with him in the paint when Williams had a beautiful pass to Payne, and he just couldn't handle it.
Yeah,
he couldn't handle it.
Yeah, he's having some trouble catching the ball lately.
Yeah. I don't want to be negative on that. I just it sounds like Shaw's listening to your show, Nick, because he made the switch, and maybe you should be on the bench with him, giving him a word of advice, because it worked tonight, I thought.
Your final thoughts, Coach, before we let you go.
Yeah. Obviously, defense keeps us in the games. Love to see our foul shooting improve. We were horrible. I forget the stat we were, but we were horrible. So let's get those guys to the foul line. After this game, I'd had them at the gym just shooting 100 foul shots.
My wife said.
Serious, I would.
10 for 22, 45%.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, I want to give a big shout out, and she's going to be at the game. Eileen Citrullo from Morris Plains. And I told you, Nick, she coached at Sacred Heart. She's going to be sitting right in your area there, and she's going to be at the next home game.
And tell her to come over and say hello to Frankie and I.
I definitely will. Love you guys. Have a good night.
Thanks, Tom. Great job as always.
Bye, Tom.
Let me just get back to
I would love to. That would
quick.
be great to meet them.
I thought Brian Caver was one of the best quotes when he said, "I'd make a pass, someone else would drop it, and PJ would yell at me." Oh my God, I saw that so many times on TV, and I thought the same thing. That was great. So we had a Pirate point guard on, so now we're going to get another former Pirate center on. Junior Foy, Christina, pop up, Junior. Junior, what's up, buddy?
How you doing?
Good.
Glad to be on.
How's
Good.
everything going?
Everything is fine. Glad that the Pirates won.
Yeah, give us your thoughts on tonight's game, Junior.
Well, first of all, it's always tough to win on the road, and that's just a plus for Shy's guys. You have ups and downs on the road, and he plays a lot of guys. I think what people are missing a lot of time is that he plays his whole team, and so guys are in and out, and he does X's and O's, and sometimes it's not explainable to the general person, but he does a good job. And I think that some of the kids are getting much, much more confidence in playing, but they just have to they just need a guy, a go-to guy who can just pull up and just shoot a three, just give you a bucket when you need it. I think they struggle that way. And then the foul shooting tonight wasn't really good. But I'd like to give a shout out to Brian Caver, who, I'm a Seton Hall guy, but I played against his coach, PJ Carlissimo, when PJ was at Fordham.
That's awesome.
Brian, you made a really good point, and I was thinking about this before, Junior. You made a really good point. I think in the Big East, you need depth because, look at DePaul. Big East got hurt. They weren't the same team. Everyone's starting to get beat up, but we're not as beat up as other teams, and our depth might have something to do with it. And again, you start Simpkins, Williams comes off the bench and has one of his best games since November. Junior, what's your thoughts on our depth and the importance of it, now?
I think it's excellent, and I think this time of the year, that's when you want it to be flourishing. When you're going into the Big East tournament, possibly a good NCAA seeding, and the more you play, guys are comfortable. So everybody's ready to play in those big games and those big moments. I just like the way that Shy shuffles guys in and out. I mean, as players, sometimes you might not understand it, but it's just for the betterment of the team, and it makes everybody on the team better.
Yeah, he seems to be pressing all the right buttons right now, and nobody knows this squad better than him. And fairness, he put this team together, and with the NIL budget he was given, he was criticized a little bit about not going a little top heavy, but he went deeper, and it seems to be paying off. Frankie, any questions for Junior?
Well, no, I mean, first of all, thank you again. I haven't. I mean, we talked to Junior. What was it, back in the summer? We were all together, all of us.
Yeah,
and
few times.
it's great to see you again.
Great to see you.
Yeah, I was on the show, but no, I mean, what do you think going forward, getting to the NCAA tournament? Do you think that we have to beat either UConn or St. John's in the regular season, or could we get to the Big East final, UConn or St. John's? Who would it be in the second round or the semifinals? Would that be enough?
Sure.
In your opinion?
Definitely. I personally, I already think that they're in the tournament, but that's just my opinion. But one of the things that I want to address too is that, you have these players, and like Shy, Nick, like you said, he put the team together, but the NIL changes all that because everybody is playing for NIL.
Yeah.
So it's just like a professional team. Your stats help you get more money.
Yep.
So for Shy to be able to control that and to have them playing the way that they do is just really an amazing job. Because each kid, no matter what level he's playing at in Division I, whether it was low level, middle level, or high Big East or the power conferences, every kid who plays and starts is playing for more money if they can get it. Because you have the scholarships are just 1 year. So a coach is like, okay, you're gone. So a kid is trying real hard. So I think the guys coming off the bench, they're like, hey, okay, let me play as hard as I can, which is a good thing in a different kind of way.
Bobby, anything for Junior?
Yeah, Junior, quick question. You are a big, right? If I'm not mistaken.
Pardon?
You're a 4'5".
Yeah, I was a 4'5". Yep.
Right.
Bobby.
What's up with the roller coaster ride that Najai Hines is going on? He had 17 minutes tonight, and then he had like 6 last game. Is that being a freshman? Is coach holding him back to save him for the postseason? What do you attribute the playing time that seems to be fluctuating each game with Najai Hines?
See, I don't think it's like Shy is holding him back. I just think that Hines is a great post player, but Shy plays pressure defense, and this is no knock on Hines because he's a great player, but Seton Hall is up and down the floor. So you want to have somebody that's up and down the floor as well. So he's good. He runs, but when you want that fast pace, and let's face it, you need a fast pace because most of the time Seton Hall's playing from behind. And Hines is just a luxury that he has when he can put him in there. It's just he's an X factor in any game because when he comes in and plays 3 or 4 minutes, I mean, he changes the dynamics of the game all the time.
That's a great point, Junior, because Payne is
great
better with the style that we're playing to run up and down the court. But as a change-up, and I was thinking that as you were saying, Hines could come off and then come in and give teams a different look. And then now he's even throwing Godswill Arinarine in there as a total change-up. And, it's working right now. But at some point, and we've said this before, we would love to see, and I don't think we're going to see it, but Hines and Payne playing together just once, just to see how it would work, because we're undersized at the 4. We have some height at the 5, but Fisher's, they introduced him as a guard, and he's playing the 4. So what are your thoughts on playing the 2 big guys together, Junior, as a big man yourself?
I think in going into the Big East tournament, you're going to see it.
Okay. Good.
I think going into the tournament in the NCAA's, you'll see it a lot. But you have a great point. If they play together, that's a plus for Seton Hall. But Seton Hall runs up and down the floor, and that's it. It's like if pressure defense and running up and down the floor. Because think about it, we score a lot. We score most of our points in transition or going to the bucket. You know, it's not like somebody just pulls up like tonight. The guy hit a couple of threes, but it's not like you can just come down, set a pattern, throw the ball 3 or 4 passes, and you can get a bucket from a guy that can just fill a basket up. So you need that speed when you play defense like that. You need speed on the court all the time.
Junior, before I let you go, comment on our defense, because this defense, again, we gave up 56 points tonight. It's keeping us in every game. And Patino made a remark, the way Shah's team, he coaches and the way the team plays defense is they're one of the best defensive teams in the country. What are your thoughts on that? And what do you think about our defensive capabilities?
The defense capabilities are great. And the thing about it is when you're on defense, you have to know your spots. Defense is like offense. You know your spots, but you have to talk. Now, they communicate really, really well to play defense like that on the floor. You have to talk and just know where you are supposed to be and what you're supposed to do. And that's the good thing about and when you work on defense, the stance, they have good hands. They have good stances. The defense is superior to any that I've seen so far in the Big East. And I'm not just saying that because I'm an alumnus of Seton Hall, but Seton Hall's defense is very, very good, and it keeps them in games. That's how they win. That's how you're able to come back all the time.
Right. Because you're never too far behind. Exactly.
Yep. That's right.
Thank you, Junior. A pleasure. Come on again, buddy. Anytime. You're more than welcome.
To all you guys, happy belated Valentine's Day to all you and yours.
Thank you.
It's nice to see everybody.
You too.
Take care, buddy. Thank you.
Yep. Have a good one. Thanks for having me.
Anytime, Junior. Appreciate it.
Yep.
All right, Christina, let's pop. We got Paul out there. Let's pop Paul up. Paul.
Hey, guys.
2 things. Paul, your
Paul.
thoughts on the game tonight, and then I got to talk to you about something else. And guys, Paul is not married, if you haven't heard. Paul's back from Vegas, had a great time, clean shaven, but there's not a Mrs. Paul, just a fan right out. Paul, your thoughts on the game?
Well, first of all, the fact that there's not a Mrs. Paul, just a fan, is not from lack of trying. So
All right.
you're gonna have to talk to her about this. It's not me. Now, so first of all, I thought that it was nice, believe it or not, to see us just go out and play and win. That game just moved on. We played a little better than they did. We played a little bit better than they did down the stretch, and we beat them. Kind of a lunch pail, blue collar. We've got to go out and win this game. It's an important game for us to win. Nothing spectacular. We did take advantage of the fact that Butler was missing the great Finley Bizjack, who is day to day with that wrist injury. Butler didn't have, after Ajayi, Ajayi, they didn't have anybody else, and there were a couple of folks who I expected to see something more from. Evan Haywood, Jones, I thought might give them some points, but other than Michael Ajayi, they didn't have anybody to shoot. And I thought that Clark kind of found himself a little bit. He's still capable of making the big basket, even when he's not having a great game. I thought it was great to see Staten McRae get 19 points. I think Mike Williams getting 10 points off the bench is an interesting comment, especially Nick, since you've been talking about the switch with Simpkins and Mike Williams, and what happens if Mike Williams doesn't start. And he hadn't been playing well, and he had one of his better games.
Yeah.
Tonight, coming off the bench, that might be something good. 3 for 4, 2 for 2 from the 3-point line. The one area that I was most frustrated with is if we go 16 of 22 from the foul line, this game isn't even in doubt, right? We win this game by double digits.
Yep.
10 for 22 from the foul line is unacceptable after Valentine's Day in the Big East. Okay. On the other hand, we had 13 block shots. They had 1. That was an enormous advantage. And I'm happy with the team play, and I'm happy to get out of Hinkle Fieldhouse with another win.
Yeah.
I think we mentioned before that we're 7-7 in Big East games since we started playing there, 9-7 overall.
Oh, okay. Okay, got you. Yeah, I've been there. That is not an easy place to play. And that might have something to do with the poor foul shooting. I mean, because we're a much better foul shooting team than 45%, right? Much better.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, I'm not even saying you got to make them all, but you make 6 more, and the game is 69-56, and we're not. There was never. It wouldn't have been in doubt coming down the stretch.
Paul, let me get, because I'm dying to talk about this, and just want to get off topic for a quick second, and I think you know where this is going. What the hell happened with the Friars yesterday? Oh my God!
Wait, first of all, what's up with that guy's freaking hair? Like, what is that?
That's the problem. If you have a haircut like that, you're probably walking around upset with your life in general. And at some point, it just all boils over.
Well, tell us. Go from the beginning, Paul. Tell us, set it all up, and tell us what happened.
So, let me jump over so I can get the names right. Just give me 1 second.
Well, it started with Patino getting another transfer from a la Kadari Richmond from another Big East school, and getting him to go to St. John's and Hopkins, right? Bryce Hopkins. And then yesterday, Hopkins returned to Providence, to the old Dunk, whatever it's called now. And the fans were not happy from the get-go and pick it up.
Yeah, so, there needs to be a conversation within the Big East about recruiting other guys through the portal within the league. Okay, I don't think it's fair for the coaches. I think that it's going to create more situations like this.
Yeah.
And we all know that the Providence may not be the loudest or most knowledgeable crowd, but those are the rowdiest. Those are the rowdiest fans in the Big East. Okay, and I think it's somewhat alcohol lubricated up there. Anyways, what ends up happening is that they decide that they're going to boo Bryce Hopkins the whole game. They're booing him every time he touches the ball. After a while, it starts to get annoying, especially since Hopkins doesn't manage, like, he moves the ball quickly. So it would be going to him. Sometimes they wouldn't be able to get a whole boo out. It would just be buh. And then he would be dumping the ball off. But he's coming down the floor. Providence is winning at this point, by the way. This is the second time that Providence self-destructed with a lead. They did it against us. Providence is leading. Hopkins comes down the floor for what should be a layup. Duncan Powell comes over. It wasn't a hard foul. It was essentially a strangulation. He has his hands up and he wraps his arm around Hopkins' neck and throws him to the floor. Okay. Hopkins is, what do you call it? As you would expect, pretty upset. He jumps up. Powell runs away, and instead of fighting Hopkins, decides to go and fight Isaiah Sellers, who's about 4 inches smaller than Hopkins. I don't know if you guys noticed that. And the fight ended up spilling over to the St. John's bench. It's automatic to come off the bench to get thrown out of the game. So 4 St. John's players get thrown out of the game for coming off the bench. 2 guys from Providence, Powell and I believe it was Jalen Sellers, get thrown out. And Powell got suspended, I believe, for 3 games. I cannot believe that Jalen Sellers did not also get suspended. Because if you watch the video, he is throwing chairs on his way out of the of the gym. He actually throws a chair. I cannot understand how he did not also get a suspension. And then later in the game,
with it, right? He hit a woman or an usher.
Yeah, he picked up a chair. I mean, what is this? I mean, Indiana? He picked a chair up and threw it. And then at the end of the game, Jameer Jones, he got a flagrant 2 and got himself tossed out as well. And that was on Dylan Darling. So, Providence has been a horror show. Kim English, I believe, is going to be the first coach looking for a job in the Big East when the season is over. Providence has a very strange season. If you look at it, they've been very close in a lot of games. 6-point lead to UConn that I thought was unbelievable. They lost in overtime to Butler. They lost in overtime to UConn. They lost in overtime to Marquette. This is a team that can consistently snatch defeat from the jaws of victory. And I thought that it was a horrible display. I thought that you see guys try to make a basketball play and hit somebody in the head. You see guys not care whether they make a basketball play or not and hit somebody in the head. You very rarely see a guy who looks like he's deliberately trying to get a player in a headlock while the guy's on his way down from a layup. And that's what happened in the St. John's game.
Let me say this. I woke up this morning on your point about Kim English, and I was half expecting, and I still am expecting it, that Kim English will be gone. Okay, because you just don't. Somebody has to pay for what Duncan Powell did, and it was just not acceptable. And I'm surprised if he finishes the season at this point, because look at the game against us. He lost control, and it looks like now that he has lost control of this team, especially since Powell didn't play for them last year. Powell never played with Hopkins. It makes no sense that he would have that animosity toward Hopkins. The fans, I get it. They're the fans, and 2 fans got thrown out, I heard it, for the game because they were shooting F-bombs all over the place. And that is a tough place to play, okay? I have been there with my wife. We went to, when my son was a manager, we sat behind the Seton Hall bench, and those fans are brutal. They might not be the largest crowd, but they are definitely the most hostile crowd, because I couldn't believe the things they were saying when we went. And
I kind of view them as Boston fans without the class.
Oh,
So that's not a high bar to jump over. I'm sorry.
And what do you think about 72-year-old Rick Pitino? He looked like he was ready to square up with. Surprised he didn't get tossed.
Well, the problem with old Italian men is that they don't realize they're old. My dad's 86, and every once in a while I got to hold him back. At which point he'll then turn to me and say something like, what do you think? What was I going to do? But I think Pitino was jumping in. I mean, the fact that the fight spilled over into St. John's bench. Okay, I think that was the reason. I mean, the fight is in front of you. Your guys are getting into a fist fight with other players. You're not supposed to come off the bench. I can't imagine how many 20-year-olds are going to sit on the bench with the fight right in front of them without getting up and trying to grab somebody. And so, that's why St. John's got so many players tossed.
I agree with you that they're going to have to do something about that transfer rule, because it's just going to create more animosity. And even with coaches, right? Like Cooley taking the Georgetown job when he came back to Providence, it wasn't pretty.
Well, Nick, how about this? Before NIL, wasn't there a rule where Big East you cannot transfer within the Big East?
I think there was a rule that a team could pick what schools a player could not transfer to, because I know Seton Hall said you can't transfer to Rutgers. That was one of the things. I don't know if that would have been binding or not, but I know. So if you were a player at Seton Hall, you couldn't transfer within the Big East, and you couldn't transfer to Rutgers.
Here's the problem. Here's the problem with today's world, because Rick Pitino is already screwed. All right, somebody's screwed as a term, not necessarily what happened. All right, he screwed us with Kadari. He screwed Providence with Hopkins there, right? But is he going to screw his own son? out of a player, or flipping it on the other side, are they going to work together to try to that's two Patinos in one league, right? Are they going to he's not going to screw his own son, is he, for a player? Or are they going to help each other out and foster it's just too weird to have a father-son in this world in the same conference, because with what he's doing already the past 2 seasons.
Yeah, I mean, I don't. There has to be something done, or this is just going to happen again. And it's funny that it happened to Providence, where those fans, like we just talked about, are a little on the rowdy side. But I don't know. I would imagine that there would have to be some type of thing implemented, but I don't know if you could do it or enforce it in this wild, wild West NIL world, right?
Exactly. You can't. You can't. That's Nick. You hit the nail right on the head. It's the Wild West. Everything's going. Whatever they want to do is happening. Although, with what happened with Bediaku, what was that in Alabama?
Alabama,
yeah.
Yep, that was squashed.
Well, I think that the one thing that, I mean, the coaches amongst themselves could make a decision. Hey, listen, we're just not going to recruit each other's kids.
Yeah.
Right. And they now, and I think that it would be difficult for a player to say, I was at DePaul and I wanted to go to Marquette, but they wouldn't recruit me because of a gentleman's agreement and it's antitrust. I think it would be very difficult to prove that, especially since you can make an argument that this kind of animosity, this kind of a player leaving a team, going to a rival team in the league, is going to keep on leading to this kind of throw down attitude that's not good for the game, right? Think about it. It would be perfectly legitimate for Shaw to say, I don't want to recruit a kid from Marquette because I don't want to go into Marquette and have that kid get booed the whole game. I don't want to have his former teammates, pop him. I don't want to have a fight to develop because he's the first kid from Marquette to ever use the portal. So even though he's a good enough basketball player and I might want him for basketball reasons, I don't want him from a team standpoint on my team because he's going to create problems for me. I have to believe Rick Pitino's a lot of things, but he's not stupid. And he coached at Providence. He had to know that when Hopkins went up to that game in the dunk, that there was going to be a lot of pressure on him. There was going to be a lot of fans ragging on him. Pitino had to know it, and he recruited him anyway. So, for the player's own safety, for the player's own protection, it might be reasonable to say we're not going to recruit kids who are going to then be put into a situation where they're going to find 14,000 people in Providence booing them every time they touch the ball.
Well, Paul, to that point, first thing is he's not that beloved in Providence anymore for what happened with them. They don't like him at all now.
No.
And two is he had to know because he lived it already with Kadari.
Yes.
So if Seton Hall fans were acting that way and our fans aren't as passionate as the Providence fans, he was at Providence. He had to have known that was going to happen. There's no way. He could not have been surprised about what happened yesterday.
Absolutely. I mean, and let's think about it. As much as we try to say these players, even in the environment where they're getting paid and they're professional, they're still 20 years old. They're still students. They're still growing up.
Yeah.
Next year we see Najai Hines starting for St. John's. We're not going to boo the hell out of him. We're not going to go to St. John's games and boo him in Madison Square Garden with a Seton Hall sign. This kid that didn't even know he wanted to play basketball until this summer, and he's come on and, we kind of view him as the future. That wouldn't be a devastating thing to have him end up leaving and staying in the league. I know I'd be furious, and I'm trying to cut these kids slack.
That's why I've been saying that the number one priority and that nobody should be booing Kadari Richmond or Bryce Hopkins. Just look in the mirror and boo yourself because you couldn't afford to keep them at your school. I mean, that's what it's about. You can't blame Kadari Richmond for taking, exponential more dollars, or Bryce Hopkins for doing it. You can't blame them at all. I mean,
Well,
if we,
Yeah,
right,
but
if we would have
but
not,
Nick,
what?
but Nick, there's a difference here. It's St. John's and it's that goddamn vitamin water money.
Right, right.
So it's a little difference when you're within your boundaries that the NCAA is giving you as far as money to allocate, but then having this idiot with his money being thrown around, that makes it even. That's what makes it worse. And
Well,
if Danny Hurley did it, we wouldn't be so pissed off, right? Because he's doing it within the boundaries of the rules.
I'd be pissed off at him, but that's a different story.
Tino's a cheater for almost his whole life in some form. So you're kind of like pissed off because he's doing it again. He's doing it legally and still doing it illegally. It's weird.
Paul, you will appreciate this. I was watching something that the governor of Kentucky, Bashir, I think his name's Andy Bashir. You're going to hear that name down the road, I'm sure. But he had a podcast and he had Pitino on. And Pitino said, and this is so Rick Pitino, well, I should have been fired from Louisville because my assistant didn't know. Like, come on. You can't, like, he's
It's your
horrible.
program.
He threw his assistant who's already under the bus, said, oh, I didn't. How can you not know what was going on? Like, he's one of the biggest phonies. Oh, my God. I know the vitamin water guy and Father, Monsignor, what's his name over at St. John's loves him. But, yeah.
Well, there's two quick things I want to say about it. Pitino made a comment that he wants to see the Big East, every school in the Big East, make a $9 million commitment.
$9 million, yep.
Now, UConn's got $9 million. They just pull it off of the General Assembly budget. Pitino's got $9 million. Go to the vitamin water guy and get as much as he wants. He'll just make a donation. It'll count as revenue, and he can share it. But does Xavier have $9 million? Does DePaul have $9 million?
Does Butler have $9 million?
Yeah, I mean, it's certainly, we'd have to build a pyramid selling bricks to raise $9 million. And it's nice it's nice to be able to have the luxury to say, yeah, why doesn't everybody spend $9 million? But I don't have it, and I think a lot of schools are going to have it. And the other thing I wanted to say, there was an article in my alma mater's paper, the Yale Daily News. The Ivy League has not opted in to the House settlement, so they're not doing revenue sharing. But they did set up an NIL collective that's trying to do what not Pirate Blue, what the other one was trying to do when we had the NIL collective.
All hands on deck.
Yeah, all hands on deck. Anyway, one of the kids, from Yale, went to like a couple of local businesses, basically just trying to get some sort of money for endorsements. We're talking about in the hundreds of dollars, right? And apparently they asked the kid, do you play for UConn? And when he said no, they threw him out. So the haves and the have-nots in this particular space, that is a widening breach, and it's going to just keep on doing that.
Christina, put up Maddie Palms, and if you're still out there and want to pop on, please do. Frank, you want to read what Maddie put?
Maddie put, happens in NFL, NBA, MLB, so you can never make that rule unless it's done in the pros first.
But shouldn't it not be done in college, though? Like, just, Maddie, I love your point, but Maddie, this is college basketball, no? Maddie, you there? Oh, we lost Maddie.
I'm gonna leave. I will conversation as always, and thank you. You guys do a great job.
Paul, are we gonna?
We'll be talking this week about it.
Paul, are we gonna tape your show? Paul, tomorrow night we're gonna tape your show.
Yeah, I've got to do a little research tonight on on our next opponent. But yeah, we should be able to go tomorrow if we go at the same time, like 8:30 would be great.
Perfect. Thank you, Paul.
Paul, we'll see you Wednesday, right? At the game?
If you can do that, Nick.
Wednesday's an 8 o'clock start.
Okay.
Did Paul freeze up?
Paul freezed up. Maddie's back, I think, though. Christina, pop Maddie on, please. What's up, Maddie? Maddie, can you hear us now? Matt, you there?
I think he's
We lost
miming.
Maddie again. Guys, this has been like tonight. Oh, there you go, Maddie. Were you good, Maddie? Matt, are you good?
He has no audio, I think.
Yeah, Maddie, no audio.
We need to learn sign language to tell people no
I know, right?
audio.
I'm having Stack Monster flashbacks. But guys, we get on a Pirate point guard, and he is as candid as can be. And then we get on a Pirate center, and he's giving great analysis. Like, you can't get any better than this. This is.
And you see my post before, Nick?
What?
I got Jordan Theodore is going to come on.
And we're going to get Jordan. If you want to get Jordan on after we can get him on after the game. And then, like I was telling Frank, we do something formal down the road, like a longer interview or something like that. But just to come on after the show, it'd be great because they give just such good insight. So I think Christina wants us to get the closer on. Enter Sandman. Bill.
Buffet Bill. What's up, Buffet Bill? Turn your mic on.
Bill.
Your mic. Mike.
Another one. And Bill's been, okay, let's get, oh my God.
Leave Bill there.
Leave Bill there and let's get Maddie. Somebody's mic has to work. Bill, your mic's not working. You're on mute.
All right. Here we go.
All right, Bill, hold on, Maddie. Let's go Maddie first.
Got it.
Maddie's on
You hear
twice.
me?
Yeah. All right, Bill, you
All
go.
right.
Bill, go.
Yeah. Hey, guys. What's up, man? How's it? Everything?
Buffet Bill, what's
tonight,
up?
I'm doing good, man. Doing real good. Tonight, Seton Hall closed it out. AJ Stanton McCray had 19, 5 rebounds. Elijah Fisher had 4, 5 rebounds. Adam Clark had 8. He had 2 points. CJ Simpkins, 8 points. He got opportunity to start over Mike Williams tonight. That was a good call for Coach Holloway. Parker had 6. Shooting as a team, we actually did better in the second half compared to the first half. Rebounds, we had 39 rebounds. Adam Clark was 3 for 10. Hines had 6 points, 2 rebounds. Shooting at his team was really good in the second half. And we had 13 block shots. I thought the team did really well in the second half. This team is grinding for another, like you guys said tonight. I guess they're actually going to be in some type of tournament, hopefully the NCAA tournament. I think, the key baskets by Williams and Stanton McCray kind of closed it out for Seton Hall. And they did well tonight. I think Shaw's decision and coaching, making the change helped out. Like you said, Nick, hopefully we'll see Payne and Hines in the lineup. I think it is going to go. I think it is going to happen. But I think we did well tonight in the second half. I think the team shot well. They knew they were behind the eight ball in the first half, and some key elements in the game. You spread the court with key defense. This team this year has played well in the second half as far as defensive game, and they play actually well tonight. Key shots by Stan McCray, Williams, and Clark towards the end kind of sealed the deal tonight.
Thank you. Christina, we have Maddie. Maddie.
What's going on, guys?
Not much. Maddie, first, this is college basketball. Like, we shouldn't have to deal with this, right?
No, I don't. What happened in Providence, that shouldn't happen at all. But as far as our game, I don't like to really talk too much on your show about another team. It is what it is. Big East dealt with it today. Hopefully, knock on wood, that doesn't happen. But
I'll see you tomorrow, Mike.
what
Talk to
we,
you.
again, free throws. Our game, you probably mentioned, we got to the line more than they did, but we were 45%. So if we made 80% of those instead, we'd probably be up and won the game by a lot more, and probably would have took them right out of the game. Their key player was injured, so not sure how much. You go with what you got to go with, and they beat us at home by a lot, by 11. Bud was playing hurt, like previously said. Lineup change, was great that we saw that. Simpkins had 8 points. And Mike Williams came off the bench with 10. So can't go wrong with that. Will we see Hines in the starting lineup? I don't think so. I think he's gonna, intertwine Mike Williams and Simpkins and see how it goes. With what the opposing team has as far as their lineup. So next up is DePaul home. Hopefully, have a very good crowd. People start coming back, and that haven't been there, and support the team, because I look back on the 1920 season. I just happened to go through something, and we were like 21-8, and someone said we would have made the NCAA, or 21-9. But again, I don't know the metrics now. I'd be disappointed if Big East didn't have 4 teams in there. Because it's a talk around the NCAA that not pulling a lot more teams means that our conference is weak. Our conference is not weak.
No.
Everybody plays very tough night in and night out. When there's games, there's no guarantee of a W. So that's why I said can't look past DePaul. You got to take DePaul and win that, and go from there. But again, great performance. They came back. I thought Butler was gonna try to take this game from us. They were on that edge, but our defense stepped up. Mike Williams stepped up. And AJ St. McRae, got to give him credit. He, Bud Clark was down and out again with foul trouble a lot. And, but in the end, we pulled the game out, and, winning by 7 is, a great showing. But there was times during the game I thought we, kind of like sputtered a little bit, but, defense wins games. And I've always said that. And, that's what I like to see. If we're going to be struggling on offense a little bit, there are some shots Bud took, probably should have went in, but didn't. And that's what happens in basketball. Some shots go in, some don't. And you go to the person that's hot on the floor, which was AJ and Mike Williams. And they, gave us the game tonight. And we knew that, all season long. There's not going to be the same player over and over and over again. And there's going to be somebody else stepping up. And the athletes even say it in post-game. They feed off somebody that's hot, and they get the job done. And, they move on. And that's team basketball. And some of those games during the stretch of the 4 losses, that wasn't being done. That wasn't team basketball. And I think Shaw really now sunk it into them. And we're back And I hope we just keep on winning. And that's, again, Georgetown took it to UConn. Everyone goes, oh, it's going to be tough to play at Stores. Georgetown was in that game until the end. I tell you, Shaw should be looking at that game plan because Georgetown took it to them and probably should have won that game. So everybody's beatable throughout. So we just got to take one game at a time. And, like I said, great show again tonight, Nick. Sorry I came in late and played, I had to take care of some things beforehand, but after the game. But, I'd love to hear what you have to say.
Thank you, Matty.
Right,
Take
Matt.
care, buddy. See you next game.
Yeah,
Take care, Matty.
Take
Take
care.
care.
Appreciate you.
no problem.
Later, Matt.
Thank you. Yeah, no, I mean, Matty, as always, made some really great points. We said a lot of the same things. Our defense will keep us in every game. And, and we have a point guard who is like down the stretch. I want the ball in that guy's hands because good things happen. So, like I said earlier, we're going to be in some tournament. We just don't know which one. And if I was another team, I wouldn't want to play us. I mean, the Big East is just brutal. We were 10-1 non-conference, 10-1. And we could have won that one game. We won at Kansas State. We won 2 games in Hawaii, lost another one, real close game, should have won that tournament. And then you come to the Big East and every game is a battle. But the good news is we're battle tested, definitely battle tested. Bobby, your thoughts?
There might be some sentiment that we got screwed 2 years ago and they owe us one too.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
If we're close, they don't want to make that same mistake again.
No.
So hopefully that might sway a voter or two to say, you know what, we screwed these guys 2 years ago. They ended up winning the NIT, and they were one of the best X amount of teams in the country.
Yeah.
They're right there again. And I read somewhere that said that we could be America's team if we make it to the NCAAs.
Yeah. Yeah.
People are gonna love the story. They already love our coach. Our point guard's a budding star. I mentioned this to Frank before at the game. We were at the game together before, Frank and I. Bud Clark, the past 4 or 5 games, if he continues to play like this, he might work his way into an all Big East selection.
Yeah.
Maybe second or third team, which
Exactly.
was a long shot starting the season, but he's turned it on that much, and we're starting to win again because of him.
And just remember this: if we get into postseason play, we have a coach that took St. Peter's to the Elite Eight and that won the NIT, that knows how to coach in the postseason, that gets his team ready for the postseason. And, if we get, again, we got some, and let's be honest, this is the postseason right now, right? Because every game's important. And then you have the Big East tournament, and we've proven that we could beat any team in the Big East, right? We had a nail biter with UConn. We had a nail biter with St. John's. We were up 16 with them in the half. So who knows what could happen? And, so we want to the goal is to make the NCAA tournament. But to Bobby's point, 7 wins last year, on the verge of making a postseason tournament this year. Shaw's got to be in consideration for NCAA Coach of the Year, right?
I agree. I totally agree with that because last year we only had 7 wins.
Yeah.
Now you have improved every game. There's some type of improvement as these games go along. You have seen improvement after improvement after improvement. It's because of the coaching staff. We have an experienced coach. Shaw has been coaching in the big games. He took St. Peter's to the Elite Eight. He can do the same thing with Seton Hall. It's just time and patience with this team. This team is consistent. They won some big games on the road, and I think they can do it. I think it could happen. Like you said, Nikki, some tournament, hey, it takes 4 quarters to win a game, and we want 2 halves to win a game. We won the second half of this game, and we were victorious. It's got to be consistent. Improvement after improvement after improvement, and we have improved since last year with the wins and losses. And an NIT championship, too. So you can't get better than that. You can't get better than that.
No, we have a battle-tested team. We have a battle-tested coach in Shaw's assistant coach Whalen, battle-tested. I mean, they've been there before. They know. Shaw, look, the last few games, Shaw's been pressing, I think all season, he's been pressing all the right buttons. And the fact that some of these knuckleheads on I don't know, on JD Walker's site, on Rivals, pirate this, HHQ that, it's nonsense. It's
you know what's sad about this whole thing is when the team wins, the team wins. When the team loses, you're bad mouthing the coach, you're bad mouthing the players.
Right.
Oh, they didn't do consistent. Oh, he didn't make the right shot. Put yourself in those shoes. You got to understand. We don't know what's behind the scenes. We don't know when the game plan is set up. That's if anybody has played basketball, that's the rules of the game. It's a game plan going to the next week. So Shaheen Holloway has had a good game plan in each of these games. He might have been, each of these games we were in it to win it, and tonight we won it.
And you know what? It's just one game at a time, and we have a coach. And this is right, guys. This has been a fun season, no matter what happens. This has been a blast, right?
Even on the women's side, they won 96-74 yesterday against DePaul. They blew them out. So both programs are doing well.
So what are you complaining about? Like, I just don't get it. We have 18 wins.
I think fans are already complaining that they're not going to be able to keep Hides next year. Like, let's live it now. Let's live for today right now.
Listen, if they're going to sit there and they're going to complain, well, contribute to his NIL. Okay, contribute to an NIL budget.
Where were you when we were selling bricks? Where were you then? Did you buy a damn brick? Come on. Guy goes on Hall Line, says, I'm not buying a brick. I'm going to donate to the ASPCA. That's his choice, okay? But then don't complain about our NIL budget.
Exactly. It's like you go to the store, you buy the groceries, a gallon of milk. You don't got enough money, you can't purchase the groceries, You got to be consistent. Hines, you got to worry about that off season. You can't worry about that right now. You got to worry about this. You got to win these games to get NCAA. That's the coach. That is the goal of every coach in the NCAA is to get to the March Madness.
That's right.
That's the goal. So, the negativity just needs to stop. It's like the baby crying overnight. Give him a bottle of milk. If you don't give him a bottle of milk, he's going to continue to cry. That's all to it. So, Nick, I got
to touch on one more point, and I know Christina's saying wrap it up. But I want to touch one more point.
Can we go through the women's game?
This is what? Go on. What, Bill?
Can we run through the women's game, how they did yesterday, or no?
Yeah, do the women's game real quick.
Okay. So,
Bill, real quick.
All right,
Nick,
okay.
Your favorite player did not miss a shot yesterday.
I love her. Zahara, right?
Nope.
No, the other one.
Taylor Kraft, 11 for 11 in the field, 4 for 4 in the free throw.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go through it real quick now.
Bill, before you go, speaking of depth, Tony has depth, and he told us he had depth, right?
Yeah.
I mean, he lost his point guard, and he's surviving.
Yeah.
So why didn't they have a press conference yesterday? Valentine's Day?
I think he knew. I think he knew.
Why? Like, I didn't.
I think he knew they were going to blow out the team, and he just didn't want to, bother with the same questions and everything. I don't know.
But Matt said that before the game. So
Matt sent that email out while I was doing the show with Coach. I up on my screen. Coach, I guess we're not having a thing tomorrow, huh?
So let me just say this. I'm sorry, I keep interrupting poor the closer. Bobby, you did an amazing job with your interview with you. Speaking about shot pressing the right buttons, oh my God, you hit every button. Coach was your job was
I gotta cut that up a little bit.
He was fired up, Bobby. Amazing
I
job.
gotta cut that up, make some social media posts out of it. But the one thing I kind of really got me was now we all know how bad he wants to make the NCAAs, right?
Right.
Yeah.
But he also mentioned he'd be just as almost as happy, right, if he goes to NIT and wins that outright. He gets more home games.
He was expectation setting.
Wow.
He was No, that's what he was doing. He was setting expectations.
And he's right, because I told Frank this before. I went through all the bracketologists I could see yesterday, and we're nowhere to be found. We're not even last four out. We're not even next four after that out. We're not even listed anywhere.
It's ridiculous.
It's horrible.
Totally ridiculous. Bill, give us the women's game. I'm sorry, Bill.
Yeah, so Seton Hall won 96-74 last night. Mariana Venezuela, she had about 13 points, 13 rebounds. Jakayla, 26 points, 4 rebounds. Savannah Catalan, 17, 3 rebounds. Cordio, 17 points, 11 rebounds. We out-rebounded DePaul 44-32. Turnovers in the paint, we outscored them 52-17. And bench points 18. Well, they actually got off as they outscored us 24-18 on the bench. It was a great game. You know, they celebrated. Well, they remember the cancer victims. And what caught my attention was before the game when the young lady was singing the national anthem. That was great. I mean, that was an awesome moment right there. I kudos to Seton Hall and their staff to get that young lady, because she has autism. That was a great feeling for her. The team, they actually played good. They 65% shooting, 38-58 shooting by the period. They actually did well. 38-58. DePaul had 30 of 86. 3-point range for Seton Hall, 11 of 16. DePaul was 10 of 31. That's what it was. Another win for the women, Lady Pirates. And they play St. John's next Sunday at home. Another big game.
And Nick, you mentioned the depth. Ari Woodard, I think it was her first career
Ariel,
start.
yeah, Woodard. Oh, I forgot
5
Ariel.
points.
Ariel had 5 points, 5 rebounds. And 11 assists. She actually played a good game. I forgot. I totally forgot about her, but she actually played a good game.
And if you watch the coach's show, he said her and JD Eads were teammates before. So
yep.
JD Eads really pumping her up, and now that she's incapacitated for the rest of the season, she'll be a really good sounding board to help Ari get better.
Yep.
Good. Frankie, final thoughts.
I'll make this quick because I could go on for a half hour, but I know we don't have that kind of time. Women have
Of course we do. I run the damn station.
The women, as I told Bobby, they have to win out, with the exception of get to the Big East final. All right. And then maybe we have a shot. There's just too many bad losses for the Big East, with the exception of take UConn out of the equation. The rest of the conference, we don't have like a great resume out of conference. As for the men, I mean, I know a lot of people, especially watching the Facebook page, were a little annoyed tonight. And a lot of people kept saying that, oh, we only have defense. But you know what? Give Butler some credit. They played some defense too. And a lot of these teams in the Big East play defense. We're not the only ones that wind up running into struggles. Somebody else mentioned UConn before against Georgetown, and that wasn't the only time UConn's run into trouble. UConn's come close to losing a lot of games. So is St. John's. Villanova earlier this week, they just barely got by Xavier. Anyway, Seton Hall wound up digging this one out, and they played better defense, and their offense. We were able to wear them down, I think, despite a bad shooting night. Horrible from the foul line. Bud Clark was not like he's been the last few games, and you can't expect him to be like that every single game. Bottom line is, I think Seton Hall wore them out, and I don't want to say thankfully, but that's what happens when another team's shorthanded, and we're able to pull that one out.
Thank you. Bill, final thoughts.
Well, we had a good weekend. Men's and women, 2 big wins for the program, and both men and women move on. They played DePaul, the men, and you got Georgetown on Saturday, and the women got St. John's. So hopefully we move on to a tournament. We don't know which one, but we'll move on.
Bill, Bobby, final thoughts.
Like I mentioned, Frank and I was at the Bergen County Jamboree today, semifinals, and it's really good to see. I don't know if Frank, you noticed it when you were there. There were a decent amount of people wearing Seton Hall stuff.
Yeah.
And when we're good, we're decent, and we're in the regional and national profile. Our fans come out. You see the pride. And I think it's pretty awesome to see. And even in that last game, which I didn't stay for the whole game, I left at halftime. I mean, he had Jordan Theodore helping out Teaneck. We know Anthony Amon Jr., right? He's coaching for Bergen Catholic.
Isaiah
Avent, I'm sorry. Coaching for Bergen. Our footprint is all over the place. And it's just good to see. It's good to see.
Really quick, could I just say, that's a great point, Bobby. And last year when I was at the Sweet 16 that was down in Newark?
Yeah.
Also, when I was down at the Big East quarterfinals after we were already eliminated, I couldn't believe how many Seton Hall shirts I saw all over the place.
Well,
I remember when I graduated. It was like we were actually 4 years after our run that we got screwed on. We're not going to mention that right now, but people just you walk into an interview. It was like, oh, first thing I asked you about was not even your resume. It was how's the team doing? How's basketball doing? So it's a good thing. When we're good, it's just good for the community.
Frankie, it's funny you said that. I wore Seton Hall stuff to the Big East tournament last year, even though we were eliminated. I went on Thursday, and that's where I ran into some guy at the in the hallway. And I'm not going to say who he was or his connection, but the guy told me that day, and I think I told you guys that we were going to get Hines, that we were right on the pursuit of Hines, that if Hines reclassified, he was coming to Seton Hall. And that's exactly what happened. So be proud and wear your Seton Hall stuff.
Yeah, I just wanted.
Go on.
Go ahead, Nick.
No, go.
Yeah, I just want to make you guys aware. New Jersey Transit is going to be messing the trains up, so there'll be some changes going to the Garden for the Big East tournament. Be aware of the train schedule.
My wife is, oh my God, out of her mind right now. She's going to have to go in the next few days, stand on a platform somewhere and direct people who don't know. There are people that don't know about this, Bill, that don't know, that are going to show up for the train right into Manhattan, and it's not going right into Manhattan.
You know what? It's sad, though, because us as people that are in charge on a state level are not accountable to the people in New Jersey. I'm just not going to go on a rant and criticize people in general. It's just that, it's not. It has to be done, but it should have been better organized. It's going to affect a lot of people. A lot of commuters in New Jersey and also throughout. I figure that if Morris and Essex line was figured, if Morris and Essex lines was defective, I would go to Newark. No, it's all these train lines that are going to be affected that lead into New York. And, you don't do this stuff like in the wintertime. I know it needs to be done, but it's sad. I mean, it's unfortunate. It's going to be a cause. Something's going to happen. We don't want it to happen, but this is not the right time not during the Big East tournament. You know, it
Bill,
has to
there
be
is
done.
not, with the World Cup coming, there is not a right time because that
Nope.
thing is in such bad shape, I'm told. It's
Yeah.
insane. So they have to do something, and they'd rather do it now, I'm guessing, than do it during the World Cup because that's going to be, people are going to be coming from all over the world, and you don't want to make a horrible impression. And you're going to have, the ridership is going to be up so much. But yeah, we'll figure out a way. On that note, though, we will figure out a way to get into Manhattan for the Big East tournament. I guarantee it. I got my tickets for Thursday, and hopefully we'll be playing Thursday in the 4-5 game. That's the way it looks. Hopefully we'll be the 4. Anybody else? Anybody before I go?
Oh, yes.
I just want to
after we
say,
sign off, could just us four just have a quick conversation?
yeah, I just want to, and Christina, pop on a second. Christina, pop
Go
on.
ahead. Let's have it.
Yeah, let's get Christina. No, we got to get off the air first. Christina, pop on. Christina, I know that your life is so hectic right now. For those who don't know it, Christina's getting married on Friday. She's got a million things to do, and yet
Congratulations.
she want to come help produce. And thank you so much. Your efforts are appreciated.
Thank you, everyone.
Congratulations, Christine.
Thank
I was
you.
trying to
By the way,
help you, though.
Christina, if you notice on the back end, there's a new procedure here: assign participants to scenes. If you get a chance this week, just learn that and then let me know how it goes.
Okay.
I'm joking.
Wait, don't you guys have a birthday to celebrate tonight or something?
We were at my mom's today. We did her birthday, and then Thursday's my rehearsal dinner. Friday's my wedding.
Wow.
Okay.
Very nice.
So thank you, Christina.
Dad.
I just wanted to say from my final thoughts, and I wanted to thank Frankie. Frankie was responsible for Brian Caber tonight. And I mean, again, Brian was so insightful. I loved it. I totally loved it. I almost, you try not to get stage struck or fanned out with this stuff. And sometimes it's hard because I remember Brian Caber was one of the best point guards through some of the best passes. Like I wanted to, if I was that good, I'd want to be a point guard like Brian Caber. And if you're out there listening to this, Tom Eccles is going to post the link tomorrow morning. It's going to be on the Facebook page. Please help Brian out. He's doing a great thing for city kids, and he's providing a camp for them. And, I'm going to buy a shirt. Frankie bought a shirt. Bill's buying 10 shirts. And, we're going to do the best that we can to support Brian. And great show tonight. Love you guys.
He was a true gentleman, too. True
And
gentleman.
he's a gentleman. And again, this season is fun. It's just fun. And it's a ride, and it's a good distraction, and let's just enjoy the ride. Enjoy the ride. Thank you, everybody.